So I think first let me talk about Heirs Energies, a company I'm very proud of. So we operate OMS 17, which is in southeastern Nigeria, and we bought the asset. It was a 50-year-old asset. We bought it from Shell in 2021, and 3 months after we took over operational control, we doubled oil production, and we have gone on since then to sustain that and grow it beyond that, and also double gas production. So that is who we are. A few months ago, 2 months ago to be precise, we convened an industry leadership dialogue in Nigeria discussing about this same thing, about the growth for Nigeria and the imperative of what we needed to do. We left that conversation with a few things. One, that 2.5 million is possible. Two, that now that over 50% of Nigeria's oil production is in the hands of indigenous companies have to do what needs to be done to get it going. And we committed to make a material contribution to that growth, given our DNA and our track record of growth. There's a number of things we are doing. So our asset is a legacy asset. We are doing a lot of reactivations. We are going to a workover program, and we are hoping to increase our production way beyond where it is right now. Because of confidentialities, I will not go into the specific numbers, but you can be assured that in the story of the 2.5 million barrels per day that Nigeria will attain, and even beyond that, Heirs Energies will be seen as one of the key contributors to that growth. So the main thing to know is that we are a Pan-African group. So we are from a business family that has track record in many areas. So we have that business family we are part of, the Heirs Holding Group, and a sister group to Transcorp Group and a sister group to UBA, have demonstrated track record in turning around many business sectors. We've turned around banking, as you see in UBA. We've turned around hospitality, as you see in Transcorp Hotels in Abuja. We've turned around Heirs Energies, and we've also turned around power plants. For Heirs Energies, we started with OMS 17, and we have taken that potential. We have put that asset on growth potential, and so now what we are trying to do in our upstream play is to both deepen our portfolio in Nigeria and to spread geographically across Africa to grow our portfolio. It's important for me to highlight that our ambition is to build an integrated energy business across Africa that uniquely addresses Africa's energy challenges. So you will see that our upstream play is one piece of it, but we're also in power generation through Transcorp, and we're in power distribution through Transcorp. So you will see us grow across the value chain in Nigeria and across Africa. And of course, coming to Congo, one of the reasons why we are here is to begin to look at the opportunities here as part of our Africa expansion of our energy business. So we came from a period where most of the production in Nigeria was operated by international oil companies. International oil companies have been in Nigeria since the 50s, producing our first commercial production in 1958. And international oil companies did a great service to the country, built the capacity that we know today, developed the human capacity that we have today. And as business goes on and as global dynamics evolves, it has gotten to the point where international oil companies do no longer find onshore activities attractive to operate. And as a result of that, indigenous companies have had to step up to take the position and to work and take the lead on ensuring energy security and the financial security and the prosperity of our country. And so that's where indigenous companies have stood up. The challenges that we have seen with the international oil companies over time, for some of the companies there was a loss of social license to operate. And for some other companies the asset became very mature and their operative frameworks are not tuned to operating brownfields. And there were so many other challenges, including for an international oil companies, it operates in many geographies, it has lots of projects, and capital allocation is always on best return, and return in many different areas. So onshore Nigeria was no longer attractive. So indigenous companies have stepped forward and stepped into that position. And we see the challenges that were there, and we will be able to address those challenges. And Heirs Energies has proven it. We took an asset that was producing about 25,000 barrels, and we doubled that production in 3 months. And we have sustained that growth, and we have also grown the gas production. And we have not drilled any new well. What has happened is that all the facilities that were in place that had been either not optimally operated or were abandoned, we have gone back and reopened, resuscitated, and repaired all of that facilities. And the next stage is now to start growing from that point in building new facilities. It's my very firm conviction that the indigenous companies will operate onshore Nigeria to levels that have not been seen in production terms before. There will be challenges, but because we don't have any choice, we don't have multiple assets in multiple countries, and we have a manifest destiny to address the energy challenges of our country, we have no choice but to succeed, and we will succeed. And the government on its own part has created a lot of the enablement to allow us, to give us the momentum and the necessary bandwidth operationally and financially to achieve these objectives. So I think things are lined up. On the regulatory part, things are lined up. On the government fiscal framework and legislation, things are lined up. The indigenous companies are also lined up. And, people wonder, is this possible? Yes, it is possible. Heirs Energies has proven that it's possible. That because we have taken OMS 17 to production levels it had not been in for decades. So indigenous companies, the conversation is not about indigenous companies only. There is room, and it is necessary for Africa and all the countries in Africa, including Nigeria, to have participation of both international oil companies and indigenous oil companies. In the case of Nigeria, indigenous oil companies are mostly onshore today, and we have international oil companies mostly offshore and in the deep water. And I think that's a good evolution of the industry. If you now look at your question directly and say, in managing, operating, exploring, and developing deep water, can indigenous companies also take over? There may be indigenous companies that have that capacity, yes. But today, predominantly because of the scale, because of the technology, and the financial commitment required to develop in the deep water, I think international oil companies have a strong edge in that space. And that's really, if we look at the case of Nigeria particularly, that's where they want to play. And because we welcome international oil companies, we really want them to play where they want to play. And since they want to play in the deep water, they are very welcomed. But that does not mean that if there's any indigenous company that has the means, the capability, and the technology to play in the deep water also, it can compete. So it's a question of everybody working together to meet the objectives. So when we attracted funding to acquire our asset in 2021, it was in the order of $1 billion, plus or minus. It was gotten from a consortium of international banks. International banks, it was Africa and regional banks, and it was Nigerian banks that came together to provide us the funding to make the acquisition. That acquisition and securing that funding was based on a number of premises, a number of attributes that was demonstrated by the Heirs Group. We have a track record of delivery. We have a track record of performance. We have a track record of turnarounds. We have a track record of social performance or social impact. And we have a track record of ESG, of governance and sound management practices. All of those things came together and enabled the banks to provide us the funding to acquire that block. We do know that things have become more complex with time, with all the challenges with energy transition and decisions by several countries in the global north not to support oil operations. But that is not the end of it. So there has been many other options that have come on the table to secure funding. So there are options like reserve-based lending that is available through other financial institutions in Africa and in region. You may know, of course, that there's a new Africa Energy Bank being set up to support this initiative. There is also product funding. So for example, crude oil traders who provide funding against future production that has enabled quite a number of operators to operate. And lastly, one of the best source of funding is actually from one's own balance sheet. I mean, when you operate diligently, when you operate responsibly, and you are disciplined with capital discipline, with your capital, you find out that your core operations can be run from the proceeds from your company. And that then reduces the need for additional funding. But suffice it to say that with the improving climate for energy and for oil and gas, we do think that more funding is going to become available for oil and gas companies to fund their operations. But irrespective, it's just like the solution of, how do you remain competitive in a low oil price world? It's about responsible operations, disciplined operations, and being a low-cost operator, and having the right governance framework. If those things are in place, however difficult things may be, there will always be a solution for funding. So we came here to know a bit more about Congo. We believe that it's a country and a play that we want to grow our portfolio into. So we wanted to know the lay of the land. We wanted to meet the people. We wanted to know how the industry is operating. There's so much you can read from a brief, but there's something around being on ground and having a feel for yourself. And so that's what we have come. We have taken a feel, and we realize that these geographical boundaries are just lines on the ground. It's just our brothers next door. And the challenges are similar. The ambitions for growth are similar. The opportunities are similar. Frameworks may be slightly different and different players and all, but there's a meeting of minds, and we are confident that we can play in this space. So I think what we are taking away is that, yes, we are interested in Congo. Also, we want to live with the Congolese that Heirs Energies is a company they should be interested in. Our track record, being Pan-Africanist, our intent of Afro-capitalism, making sure that we make investments not only for our profit, but for the profit of everyone. We believe in the principle of shared prosperity, and we have demonstrated it. We are turnaround experts. We are growth-oriented. And all the attributes that makes us Heirs Energies, and we have demonstrated, we believe also will make us attractive to the Congolese authorities. So we are very happy to be here. We think there will be a meeting of minds. Congo and Heirs Energies, I think there's going to be a relationship.